YouTube, what is up? The Chantilly here, and today we have something fun to talk about. On Thursday, November 19th of 2020, Roblox filed its S1, beginning its IPO process. And now, when I heard that, I was excited because I always wonder what kind of money Roblox is making because it has a massive fan base and it has a loyal fan base. And I also wanted to know exactly how they monetize that fan base. So in this video, we're going to discuss some of the numbers, then try to put a valuation on the company. But if you don't know what Roblox is, it's an online gaming platform that has many different universes. And in those universes, you can pretty much do anything from paintball to racing. It's an overall fun experience. I remember I don't play Roblox a lot. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like I play Roblox all the time. But when I played, it was a lot of fun. We played paintball. We did some racing stuff. We did all kinds of things because we were playing for like a couple hours. I mean, you can start Roblox and then look up. It's a couple hours later, especially when you're playing with people you know. But Roblox is a multiplayer-based game. It's intended to interact with other people, and that's why I think so many people like it. It's loved by millions of kids and adults, mainly kids from what I see. But is it worth investing in? And so I took a look at the numbers. I'm going to try to put a valuation on this company. But first, let's take a look at the numbers they wanted us to see. They put this in the early pages of the S1. These are the numbers that they are very proud of. Roblox has 31.1 million daily active users, 22.2 billion hours engaged, $589 million in revenue, $1.2 billion in bookings, and $345 million in operating cash flow. All of these numbers are for the 9 months ending September 30th, 2020, and it's very impressive. Next, I wanted to see what their balance sheet looks like, and it is also as of September 30th, 2020. They have about $801.6 million in cash and cash equivalents, and they have current assets of about $1.21 billion. And I want to explain what the current assets are. I googled the technical definition, and current assets are any assets which can reasonably be expected to be sold, consumed, or exhausted through normal operations of a business within the current fiscal year or operating cycle or financial year. Current assets include things like cash, accounts receivable, marketable securities, and things like that. Those will be considered current assets. The company has total assets of about $1.5 billion. It's $1,489,541,000. On the liability sides, there's a couple of things worth noting. They have about $17.4 million in accounts payable and $50.3 million in accrued and other current liabilities. They have about $193 million in working capital, and so overall, I like the balance sheet. In terms of revenue for the 9 months ending September 30th of 2020, they've done $588,675,000 in revenue, and a substantial amount of the company's revenue comes from the sale of Robux. They also have other streams of income, but they aren't very large, such as advertising, licensing, and royalties. The company had this to say in the S1 about that. We generate substantially all of our revenue through the sale of Robux to users. Users can spend Robux to purchase access to experiences, enhancements in experiences, and items in the avatar marketplace. Robux are available as one-time purchases or monthly subscriptions. We recognize revenue ratability over estimated average lifetime of a paying user. The average lifetime of a paying user is calculated based on the monthly retention data for each paying user cohort. We then calculate the average retention period by determining the weighted average period paying users have spent on the platform and are projected to participate in the Roblox environment. The average lifetime for a paying user for the years ending December 31st, 2018 and 2019, and for the 9 months ended September 30th, 2020, was 23 months. Revenue is reported net of taxes and estimated chargebacks. Other revenue streams include a minimal amount of revenue from advertising, licenses, and royalties. We recognize revenue based on performance obligations of the underlying agreements, and an amount reflects the consideration we expect to be entitled to. So that's the long-winded way to say it. We make money pretty much solely from the sale of Robux, and I like the way they outlined that the average paying customer is about 23 months, so about 2 years worth of purchasing Robux, which in my opinion is good. And so when we take a look at the expenses for this company, because they lost a little over $205 million in the last 9 months, a big charge for this company is developer exchange fees, where they spent $209.2 million in the last 9 months, and the company outlined what that is exactly in the S1 by saying, developer exchange fees represent the amount earned by developers and creators on the platform. Developers and creators are able to exchange their accumulated earned Robux for real-world currency under certain conditions outlined in our developer exchange program. Developers and creators can earn Robux through the sale of access to their experiences and enhancements in their experiences, sale of content and tools between developers through the Studio Marketplace, and the sale of items to users through Avatar Marketplace. Additionally, developers can earn Robux through their engagement-based rewards program, premium payouts that rewards developers based on the number of hours spent in their experiences by Robux Premium subscribers. Over the next few years, a major goal is to drive as much money to our developer and creator community as possible while maintaining reasonable margins and free cash flow. We intend to use future cost efficiencies realized in other areas of our business to increase earnings for our developers and creators. As such, we expect that our developer exchange fees will increase in both absolute dollars and percentage of bookings over time as our business grows and as we continue to invest in supporting our Roblox developer and creator community. Overall, that's a really good thing because there is no Robux without the experiences, and they need developers and creators to push those experiences to their fans and to create the interactive experiences to make people want to play them. And so by increasing their payouts will increase the amount of people that want to be on there. It'll retain the people who are currently creating experiences. It'll keep the creators out there wanting to push it to their fan base and get them in the game mode to play it. And so overall, I think this is a very good thing because when Roblox makes money, it allows them to pass that money down to its developers and creators. And so I think that's pretty good. I think that will always continue to be a big part of their expenses because it keeps the platform fresh and it keeps the developers there. Another large expenditure is infrastructure and trust and safety, which they spent over $185 million on in the last 9 months. A lot of these expenses are inflated because when companies begin the process of going public, they tend to spend a lot more building up the business, trying to make it look pretty. And, that's just typically what happens. You'll see a company spend a lot more the year that they're planning on going public or leading up to an IPO. And so just keep that in mind when you look year over year for like how big of a jump in this was year over year, how big of a jump this was. They really want to make the company look really nice, and so they tend to spend more. And so a good example of this can actually be found in this S1. For the 9 months ended September 30th of 2019, they did $349,888,000 in revenue and lost about $46 million. And so this year's loss is about 4 times as high than it was last year. Some things stand out in the year-over-year expenses. That was a big jump in developer exchange fees. A lot more people are playing Roblox due to the pandemic. People are staying at home. And so there's a lot more people in these universes. And so those have to go out. The exchange fees, they are paying out more because more people are playing them. And then research and development. 2 very important things for the health of this business is first to keep developers and creators happy. And the second thing is reinvesting in this business. And now a big plus for me with this company is that they are cash flow positive or free cash flow positive. As they reported, they have about $292 million in free cash flow for the 9 months ended September 30th, 2020. Keep in mind, they raised about $150 million back in February, led by Andreessen Horowitz. I just absolutely love that investment firm. I'm a big fan of Mark Andreessen in general, but they was led by them. Moving on to net bookings, which the company defines as sales activity in a given period without the effect to certain non-cash adjustments. This number came in at $1,240,232,000 or $1.2 billion for the 9 months ending September 30th. A majority of the bookings came from the United States and Canada, which was about $847 million or 68%, with Europe coming in second at about $235 million or 19%. Roblox, the game, is very healthy. Daily active users are still on the rise. It's up from 23.6 million for the first quarter of 2020 to 36.2 million people for the third quarter of 2020. Now, a lot of this growth can be attributed to the pandemic, which is fair, and you should take that into your calculations. But I say that word a lot. I say but a lot, don't I? But, said it again. But it consistently was in an uptrend prior to the pandemic, but like many things, the pandemic supercharged this growth. Fourth quarter of 2019 to first quarter of 2020 saw a 31% jump. Quarter 1 to quarter 2 2020 saw a 76% jump. And quarter 3 was a little bit higher, but nothing to write home about. The average booking per daily active user, which is defined as bookings in a given period divided by the daily active users for such period. This number has moved up and down over the last year and a half. The most recent quarter three of 2020, the number came in at $13.73, which is very good. The second highest from the set of data that we are given. And from the looks of the chart, it appears that the fourth quarter is usually the best. And so we have to keep an eye on that. They actually mentioned this in the S1 where they said, we experience seasonality and monetization on our platform. Historically, we generate higher levels of bookings in the fourth quarter of the year due to the large part of the year and holiday season. And so when you look at the financials, they're good. I'm impressed with what I saw from this S1. It's better than I expected. And to be honest, I don't know what kind of financial shape I thought they would be in. I knew it would be decent. And so it's better than decent. So it's better than I thought it was. During the last round, we already mentioned the fact that they raised $150 million at a $4 billion valuation. I believe on February 26th of 2020, I believe we raised that funding. I want to see what it would be worth now on the public markets. And let's take a look at some of the other companies in this sector. And I really want to focus on how these companies trade versus their sales, because Roblox doesn't make money, and so we can't really put a price to earnings ratio. And so I wanted to see how it looked price to sales. And so let's take a look at some of the companies in the sector. Activision Blizzard trades about 7.9 times sale. They're the creators of World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Candy Crush. They have a lot of very good games in their ecosystem. Then we have Take-Two Interactive, the makers of 2K, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption. They trade about 6.02 times sales. Unity Software, a new IPO that's a video game software development company. They have similar revenue to Roblox. They trade around 56 times sales, but keep in mind they're a new IPO. There's a lot of hype over time that'll work itself out. But I can understand how Roblox has been compared to Unity. They both provide developers with a platform to create on their website, and they create different games, different universes. But I want to be conservative in my evaluation of Roblox. Number one, I'm just a conservative investor in terms of like my outlook on things. I'd rather a pleasant surprise than a shocking surprise. And so that's just who I am. Roblox has 31.1 million daily active users, which is substantially less than Activision, Take-Two, and companies like that, due to the fact that these companies have multiple different games. Unity Software deals with multiple different companies, while Roblox just has Roblox. It's actually more comparable to the mobile gaming company Zynga, which has about 31 million daily active users, but Roblox is a substantially faster growing company than Activision, Zynga, and Take-Two. The top line year-over-year growth was about 68% for the 9 months ended September 30th. But I do believe that the market will give Roblox a nice valuation due to the fact that the daily active users are on the rise. The top line growth is explosive. It'll benefit from the stay-at-home stock momentum. It's free cash flow positive, so that'll bring in a lot of investors that only deal with free cash flow positive companies. They have a huge loyal fan base that is willing to spend money. 23 months is a commitment to spend money, and that's what they said the average paying user stays for. And so I think I would give them a 9 times trailing 9 month sales, meaning the valuation would come in at about $5.3 billion. I actually think that's a pretty fair valuation for a company hitting the public markets. It has a lot of growth. It's new. So I think they're going to get a pretty handsome price to sales ratio. As far as the company goes, we don't know how much they're going to raise. That info will be out shortly, where they'll give a range of where they expect to see how much money they'll raise. But they plan to use the funds for, and I quote, general corporate purposes, including working capital, operating expenses, and capital expenditures, end quote. And that's probably the most vague thing I've ever read in terms of what we're going to do with the money that you give us. Pretty much run a business. That's it. That's what they should have said. This is what we're going to do with the money. We're going to run our business. Cool story. But anyway, what do you guys think about Roblox? I will definitely keep my eye on this company. I can't wait to see it go public. I really want to see the valuation that Wall Street gives to them. What are you guys thinking? Are you high on this company? Are you low on it? Do you think it'll be a good company? Do you think it'll get acquired? There's just so many questions that I want to ask you guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. Can't wait to read them. See you there.